Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. Ohayo gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbawa. Wherever you are, we are going to talk about one of those topics that's universal, one that we all need to know about and understand. It's one we do generally not very well. And so we're going to go through the science of networking. I will preface that by saying that at Global Chamber, we're built around intentional connecting, meaning connecting members to clients with an intention in mind. So instead of having to sort through haystacks to find the needle that you're looking for in terms of a client, we want you to tell us as a member what the needle looks like, and let's deliver that directly, generally through direct connections. We also recognize the value of networking, and it happens every day. We don't consider that to be the primary way value is generated at Global Chamber. However, it is a way that value happens, not just at Global Chamber, but everywhere, including here at Ralph's, a food store. You never know who you're going to meet. The randomness of life, you just kind of never know. The Japanese Village Plaza has been an instrumental real estate investment in downtown Los Angeles that really was kind of the regeneration of little Tokyo in downtown Los Angeles decades and decades ago. I happened to learn the story about it in Vancouver when I was networking and connecting up at an event just a couple days ago. And I heard the story and I was like, oh my God. And so the son of the fellow who architected that, I met, and he's going to take me on a tour in LA. So you never know what's going to happen in life. It's definitely better to be open and receptive and know Basile Limba because he knows the science of networking, not just because he's good at it, but he's studied it. He teaches it. He's perhaps the most expert person you'll ever meet on networking. And so you are in for a treat today by learning networking at a different level. Basile, thank you so much for taking the time today. Thank you for being so supportive and collaborative with Global Chamber. I believe you're going to take about 20 to 30 minutes,
Right.
and then there'll be time for Q&A.
Absolutely.
Does that work for you?
Yes, that'll work.
Fantastic.
Yes.
We are, I'm going to stand and listen, then I'm going to sit and listen, and I can't wait to learn from you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, Sophie, I'm going to see if I can pull up some slides that I have here. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, good. Please let me know if you see the slides that I put up there. You guys see them?
Yep.
Yes, okay, great. Excellent. Thank you. All
Yep,
right. Well, Doug, thank you very much for that kind of introduction. I joined the Chamber of Global Chamber. I'm very excited about it. I'm very much more excited about how I could contribute in any way to help the global chambers. And I'm really see that the chamber will have, it already having and have a bigger impact and helping us do business and also creating a better world. My name is Basile Limba. I'm going to tell you a bit about myself. I'm originally from Cameroon, Western Africa. So I left when I was 14 and I went to France, lived there for 10 years, became an architect. And I started working there as an architect. And on my off time, I was helping a nonprofit organization. And one day they came to me, they said, we have a position for you at the headquarters in Florida. And I was, me? Because I was not looking for a job. But since I liked what they were doing, I took them up on it. So I moved to Florida in that organization. And there I got trained in administration and started working there. 10 years into that, however, my parents retired in Cameroon. And as you know, you can have this lifestyle, and if you don't plan your retirement, things collapse. So I started getting phone calls later about the situation back home there. So I stopped working in Florida. So I moved up to Northern Virginia and started a business. I started a business so as to be able to keep up with the request. Otherwise, I could just have gotten a job. Problem was, I didn't know anybody in Virginia. So it was very challenging. I couldn't just walk up down the street and tap somebody on the shoulder and say, I want to show you what I have. So I tried as much as I could. I joined the Chamber of Commerce. It was good, but I needed more in order to build the business. So I started telling people, I want to meet more people. I want to meet more people. And one day a lady came to me and said, you want to meet a lot of people? I said, yes. She said there's a luncheon over there. There'll be 150 people there. My eyes went big, 150. Because I was saying to myself, if there's 150 people, I could come up with 30 to 40 business cards. Long story short, I went to that event. It was jammed packed. You couldn't move. A voice came over the PA system. They say, have a seat. We are going to serve lunch. You literally squeezed where you could find a chair. On came an MC. He introduced the keynote. The keynote grabbed the mic, but never let go. 2 o'clock came. People are leaving to go back to work. And I went, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. 3 minutes later, the room was empty. And I was standing there with 3 business cards. That's when I had my first realization about networking. I realized one of the things that I was running into was the fact that sometimes you could go to an event, but never get the opportunity to network. So I went to business people like you. I said, Jacqueline, when you go to an event, what do you want to see happening? I wrote that down. What is that you don't want? I wrote that down. France, when you go to an event, what do you want to see happening? I wrote that down. What is that you don't want? I wrote that down. So I surveyed 20 to 30 business people. I took what they wanted and created a breakfast event, of which I can show you the picture here. In this breakfast event, we did exactly precisely what I got out of the survey. We'll come, we'll go around, and each and every person will have the opportunity to introduce themselves. We'll do a short presentation, and then we move to this section here. Whereas you see them, this person over here talk to this one for 1 minute. I hit the gong, and this other talk to the other one for 1 minute. I hit the gong twice, and this person moved to this chair. All right. So this person is going to go all the way around and talk to 25 people on one-on-one. He's probably going to get 20 to 23 business cards. And then at the end of the event, I'll send them the complete list of all attendees. What we did is we managed to cover as many bases as possible. Okay. I never planned to make a career out of this. But this was so successful that we have been doing it now for over 21 years. Okay. One day, then a lady sitting over here talked to the other one, told her, I'm in renovation. I do bath and kitchen. I hit the gong. Was the turn of the other one to speak. And she simply said, oh, well, I did my kitchen 3 months ago. And the remaining 55 seconds, she said nothing. She got very upset, came to me. We looked into that. And then we realized that the other lady did not know how to network. You don't want to put an event and wind up with guests who are upset. So we went around the bookstore, the library, the schools to find out a networking know-how, but we couldn't find anything. What we found was successful actions or opinion. You see these people coming over here. Each and every month, 50% of them were first-timers. So I didn't know who was going to walk into the room. So we were facing a serious problem. And that problem was we have to find something that works for one and all. Okay, so that was the problem we're up against. And we did the research. We started 20 years ago. And just like Doug says, today I'm happy to announce that we codify networking and turn it into a science. All right. In doing so, you can imagine we discover quite a lot of information. One, the quality of your life is proportional to the quality of your networking. One of our big segment of customers right now are HRs. People go into business, go back out. They go in, go back out, but they are not necessarily connected. When we go in and teach them networking, now they work together as a team. All right. The other thing we discover naturally is the amount of money you make is proportional to the quality of your networking. The best example I could give you here is I attended an import-export conference, SM Bank here in DC. On stage, you have somebody who was extremely rich. What that person does is he takes early celebrities in Hollywood, take them to Brazil. He pays for everything and introduce them to the nonprofit work he's doing over there. All he wants from them is their feedback and a testimonial. But his story was so moving that as soon as he finished speaking, I ran out of the room, went to the green room to say thank you to him. So as I'm talking to him, he asked me, and you, what do you do? It took me by surprise because I was not going to talk to him about myself. So I told him, we teach people how to network as easily as they drive their car so they get the exact client they want and make more money. He looked at me and said, you should teach me how to network. It took me by surprise. Number one is asking me what I do. I tell him now he want to learn how to network. And I start thinking, my God, I'm talking to somebody who will buy everything I have for the next umpty lives. And he is telling me he want to learn how to network. So then, again, I want you to remember the big picture. Like every single person we need to solve the problem for one and all. So we ask ourselves, what is the thing that most people can do? Or what is the thing that most people do? Well, we realize that most people drive a car. In fact, according to the US Department of Transportation, 91% of the adult population drive a car. 91%. All right? Now, how do you drive a car? Ignition key number 1, gear shifting number 2, pedal to the meter. In that order, all the time, all of us, every time. If you violate this sequence, the car will not move. It is a 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter where you are on the planet. You do 1, 2, 3. And when you do that, the car moves. Very well. So we say to ourselves, we have a 1, 2, 3 to drive a car. Anybody can drive a car. All we need to figure out was the 1, 2, 3 to get client. If we figure that out, we have it made. Very well. So that's what we discovered. How do you get a client? 1, networking. 2, promotion. And 3, sales. In that order, all the time for long-term success. Allow me to explain. A survey was done at the Chamber of Commerce, a networking event. And people were asked, who is here to sell something? All the hands went up. Who is here to buy something? All the hands went down. Why does that tell you? It tells you the gist of the conversation. Most of the noise you hear in the networking room, the gist of it is, Stephen, do not sell me, I sell you. Stephen, do not sell me, I sell you. Because that's the mindset. Okay. And if you have been in business more than 30 minutes, I'm sure somebody came to you and say, hey, Franz, what is your elevator speech? What is your elevator speech? Well, if I'm giving you my elevator speech, I'm promoting myself. I'm telling you what I do. So we come to understand in our culture, when people say networking, they are really thinking about sales or promotion. We never really graduated to networking. And that was one of the biggest breakthrough in our research. What you are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, are three different distinct subjects. The purpose of sales is to collect money. The purpose of promotion is to create a strong desire for your product. The purpose of networking is to create acceptance. So you create acceptance. Once you create acceptance, they are going to ask you what you do. You don't need to tell them. This is when you tell people what you do, not here. Here you create acceptance. You are looking at the natural laws of the thing. And the way you do this is by showing interest to the person. I never tell people what I do when I meet them. Never. France, ask me what I do, for example. Ask me what I do, France.
What do you do?
I'm in networking. How about you, France?
I'm
So
in connecting.
very good. So I answer your question briefly, but I don't go into the details. I want you to talk to me. I give you the stage. Talk to me. Once you're done, this happens 1,000% of the time. They ask you, France, what you do. Why? It's a natural law. Human beings react in kind. If I show interest to you, France, you are going to show interest to me. You tracking with me? Because I show interest to you, when I start talking, you will be listening. In other words, what I'm going to say is not going to go here and come out on the other side. I discovered this in 2008. As you all know, the market crashed. I walked into a networking event and I'm talking to the financial planner. I was interested. I'm asking him question after question after question. And at one point, he asked me, what do you do? I was surprised because I said, I'm asking you a question. You're asking me a question. How does that work? I told him what I did. That financial planner turned around and sold my product to 20 different business people who all bought what I was selling. I never sold to those 20 people. I walked into the office, people will stand up and say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I go to the next guy, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. That's what I started understanding the mechanism that I'm sharing with you here. I was talking to a young guy yesterday, worked with a big, huge financial planning company. I won't name the name. So I'm going over these materials with him, and I told him, if you master this, you'll never experience rejection. He went, what do you mean? Oh, she said, my mentor always tell me, some will, some won't. So what? Next. So that guy expect rejection. He knows he's going to get rejection and has been told, you will experience rejection. I don't. And if you master this material, you'll never experience rejection. If I'm talking to Jacqueline, for example, and I show interest to her, how could she ever reject me? Never. She may or may not buy my product, but she will have a good relationship. In fact, she will be open, just like the financial planner, to share what I do with other people. But if I jumped up to her and said, you know what, Jacqueline, I have this course over here. I need you to buy it, meaning I'm here. Next thing you know, I say, get out of my face. She's going to reject me. The point, what we discover here are the natural laws of relationships. And just like in a car, they work 1, 2, 3. So we took this and broke it in 5 basic skills. 1, the ideal client. I'm going to come back to the correct mindset. 1, the ideal client. A lot of us talk to people who have no business talking to. So we teach you how to define your ideal client and groove you in spending 80 to 90% of your time with them. I was on the show once and the host asked me, you are a networking guru. Where should people go to network? I said, that's not the question. The question is, who is your ideal client? Where they go, you go. All right? Contacting people. Again, here, remember, everything we teach works 100% of the time. We teach you how to talk to people. The best example I could give you here was a chiropractor who was part of what they call referral groups. Referral group. He'll go and give referral to one and all, and nobody was giving him anything. Okay? He started getting upset. In fact, he wanted to leave the group, and that's why we ran into him. And then we asked him what's happening, and we asked him, what do you tell them? He said, I tell them, they ask me, who should we send you away? And I reply, anybody who has a spine. A good luck, grab the waitress, she has a spine. Nobody could really give him a referral. We worked with him and he came up with this. If you see somebody standing up and they put their two hands on the table to help them stand up, it means that that person has a bad back. So he went back to the group and told them, hey, if you see somebody standing up and they put their two hands on the table to help them stand up, it means that that person has a bad back. Take their information and give it to me. And with that, they flooded him with business. So when we're talking about talking to people over here, we're not talking about words. We get you to come up with a picture that you communicate to each and every person you meet. Some may become your customer, some they don't want, that's no problem. But when they go out in the world, when they see that picture, they say, call Gary, call Gary, call Gary, call Gary. In other words, you maximize on each and every contact you make. They either become a customer or they become an ambassador. It's an exact, precise formula. I met a lady last time at an event, and I started introducing myself. She said, oh, I met you a year ago. She remembered the exact, precise picture. So all the connections you make now become fruitful. They become a customers or they become an ambassador of yours, based on what we teach you. I'm sure all of you know already, 97% of the business people will openly admit that they are challenged with follow-up. Follow-up is an art, a science, and some organization. We teach you that over here. We added closing. Closing an element is an element one can ask, what does that have to do with networking? We didn't want to put together a program. Somebody take the program, walked out and say, I know how to network, but they cannot make the money. In fact, our base program is called Networking for Profit, because we want you to network and achieve your goal. It can be in the social aspect or in business. The last part over here, our system, is the mindset. This is 80% of the deal. This is 20%. Can you master the 20%? Yes, you could. In fact, you go online, you find all the information you want regarding this. This is our trademark information. I mentioned being an architect. One of the things you learn in architecture school is this. They tell you the fascinating part about it all, ladies and gentlemen, is that I've never found that written in any book in architecture school. But each and every student learns it and knows it and never forget it. And it is, if you ever build a building, you make sure the foundation are solid. We apply that here. All this can be done, but this needs to be in place. It is 80%. This is the way I explain it. Let's say what Thierry, for example, goes into a theater. He's sitting there. There's an actor on stage. Behind him, there's a director. The director tells the actor, be a janitor. The actor goes in motion. Thierry look at him and says, that guy is a janitor. Good. Now the director tells the actor, be a doctor. It goes in motion. Thierry look at him and says, that guy is a doctor. Good. What's happening there? When the director tells the actor, be a janitor, He flipped his mindset. From there on out, everything the actor does align with the profession of being a janitor. That's how Thierry can look and say, boom, yeah, that guy is a janitor. Well, we come to discover in a high-level research that there is such a thing as the correct networking mindset. Once you are in it, the rest of it flows. But if you were not, you'll have the feeling, or you may have the feeling, of not being in the shoes. So you are uncomfortable, and then so are the people you're dealing with. So it doesn't flow. So as a result, then you can do a lot of networking, but never get the full result. Okay. Our program has been approved by George Mason University. So we teach it through the university. But this also means that professionals can now take it and have it count as continuing education credit. In fact, we have a lot of universities coming to us right now, Northern Virginia Community College, UVA, and so forth, so that they can implement this program. And I'm talking about people in HR. We adapt these materials and helping people find a job right now. And we have a course called Networking for People in Transition. And actually, it has been so successful that it's blowing us away. Because these are the natural process of the thing. Here is the testimony I would like to share with you. It's somebody took our course. The fascinating story about this person is that he was offline the entire time. So if you don't see the face, you don't know if he's winning, you cannot tell. So he sent his testimonial and he said, this is the best program I ever attended on how to network. There were dozens of great tips, techniques, approaches, etc. presented that I have never heard of, even though I have been networking for decades. The information provided was also very detailed. He talks about me there, and then he continues by saying, I highly recommend this program to all business people, salespeople, entrepreneurs, managers, executives, students, job hunters, etc. By the way, many of the networking ideas presented here will also work in non-business and social situations. And he's from Wall Street. I mentioned some companies working with helping them. Here are a few of them that we're working with. Casa Permanente, NIH, PNC, Hyatt, Remax, Fairfax County. Because the material we are providing can be beneficial to one and all. All right? You'll be happy to know that I have a couple of gifts for you. Okay. One of them is a complimentary assessment you can take to take advantage of this. I'm also going to put it right here, right now, here in the chat. I'm going to put it afterward. That's not coming up for whatever reason. And then you can take advantage of it. Scan it, take advantage of it. And the other one, the second one is I'll send, Sophia will send me the list, Doug will send me the list, and I'll send to all of you a PDF of the top 10 networking mistakes we notice. We want you to know them so that you can avoid them. Okay. So that's what I have for you. Doug, over to you. Back to you.
Sounds great. Really great introduction. I know all of you are digesting what's been discussed here. What are some of your comments and questions that you have? I see some really extraordinary networkers in the room, including Stephen Nikikiris and Francis Ota. I've seen Francis working a room and how well he does it and how well he listens. And one of the things that actually came up a couple hours ago, we did a leadership conversation with Rutherford Pascal. And on the leadership topic, it also very much focused in on asking questions, listening, and starting from that basis. And that's certainly one of the takeaways that I heard from from you, Basile, here
Yes.
today. Francis, that's what really struck me. I don't know whether you can you have an opportunity to speak, but that's what really struck me when I observed you networking at one of those. I think I've actually seen you twice, at least most recently at that World Trade Week down in Orange County. And you ask a lot of questions, and I think I introduced you to that that general counsel at Underhill, and you reeled him in from the stamp, not in a negative way. What I mean more around just asking him questions and being very genuine and very authentic in what you were doing. And before you knew it, he was handing out his business card because he trusted you in a very short amount of time. You're really good at it. What did you hear today?
Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate that feedback. Basile, I appreciate all the information you shared with us and your complimentary assessments and things. I echo what I've got an alarm going on here, so I apologize behind me. But listening is really the thing that I try to pay attention to, and making sure that I'm hearing from the person that I'm engaging with, try to get what their interests are, what they're thinking about, and then I respond appropriately. But I think this is pretty common sense, but listening is the number one skill in networking.
You are correct. Yes.
I would say, to build on that, it's not just listening, but before that, it's the right questions. And so John Maxwell talks about that for leadership. He wrote a whole book about it, how to ask good questions. And so I think in your case, Francis, you know how to ask questions that seem to be genuine. Sometimes during networking, people are asking that same question that Basile says, what do you do? Kind of like the old kind of basics, but there are better questions than that. Basile, any response?
Yes, that's a key subject that you just touched there, actually, Doug, because to your point, if everybody asks the exact same question, at the end of the day, that person, when they go home, you might not stand out.
Yeah.
Okay. And it is key. What we recommend when we say show interest, it is to ask to be in the moment and deal with or ask the question that is there. I'll give you an example. I went to a conference in New York, and then I ran into a lady. She was a short lady. She was all dressed in green from the top down. The head, everything all the way down. So what caught my attention was the fact that she was all in green. So I asked her, why are you all in green? She said, oh, because I'm challenged. Vertical, I'm a short person. So I dress this way so that people notice me. You see, from there, we develop a good relationship. In that conference, I don't know, there was 1,000 people, but you bet, when she goes home, she's going to remember me because we have a real conversation. I'll give you another example of that. I went to a Chamber of Commerce event here in Reston. The food was outside. I walked in, and then the lady was a morning breakfast event, and the lady was standing there by herself. Looking at it, didn't make sense to me. What I'm wondering, didn't she see the food? I mean, how come she's standing nothing? No. And I walked up to her. I said, Ma'am, the breakfast event is served over there. And she said, oh, no, 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 no. I just wanted some tea. I asked for some hot water, and nobody brought me the water. She said, I asked for hot water 10 minutes ago. And I went, oh my God. I went to the kitchen, got some hot waters, and gave it to her. And we were on Tuesday that day. My monthly breakfast event was on Thursday. Guess who showed up on Thursday? That woman. So it be in the moment. She could have been trying to get a suitcase through the door. I would have come and help her. In doing those things where you pay attention to people, asking what is the moment, you wind up with a different question that, what do you do? And those they remember, those people they connect with easily, per my experience.
Yeah, so there's the questions, there's the listening, and then there's just an overall approach. And Stephen Nikokiris, to me, also is another aspect that he brings to the table. like Francis does, is a sincerity beyond the question. There's just a connection that's made. And maybe part of it is just the question, but the way it's asked and the way it's centered. Stephen, you've I don't know whether you can speak or not, but is there anything that you do special that allows you to have that kind of aspect that you do in terms of connecting to people? And you've certainly thought about networking over the years and how it works and how, the challenges relative to it. You've probably developed some time and effort around the science of your own networking style. Is there anything that Basile has talked about here today that's resonated with you, or that you would like to emphasize, or anything else you would like to add to the conversation?
Yeah, no, thank you. No, Basile, it's been really enlightening. It's interesting to take a very, non-scientific topic and, you turned it around into something that really is scientific or, has a method. And I think, a lot of people, when they think of networking, think of a negative, there's a negative,
Yes.
a car salesman, that, and
Yeah.
and again, when you brought up this, just the, and I, that base work, that 80%, have the mindset, and I think a lot of, I remember interviewing a young accountant. I'm a CPA, and I was interviewing a young accountant, not young, 5, 6 years, and explaining to this woman, how if she wants to make it as a high-level professional, she have to be able to generate business, and part of generating business is being able to meet people and interact. And she said to me, she goes, don't you feel like you're prostituting yourself when you do that? And I knew where she was going with that, but it was exactly the mindset. Her mindset at the beginning was off, and I tried to correct her. I said, "Whoa!" I said, "Look, I think I know where you're going with that, but that's not at all. It's not even anywhere near my mindset." I'm thinking, I'm only interviewing, speaking with people I like. I have to enjoy them, and I will not follow up with someone if I don't feel a connection to them. So, I think that original mindset is really what you've made, kind of, that I think is there. I think anyone who does this well is got it. But, the fact that that's a good way to teach it to somebody who doesn't have it, and that's intangible. So I really appreciate that very, very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I do too. And actually, you finally got me to think about something in a different way today. And that is what Global Chamber should be doing more of is teaching this science. And you actually said it when you were joining Global Chamber in terms of helping. You don't need to respond exactly now, but I need to have you on a group committee to pull this together, because one thing I don't like about BNI is that it's a kind of a scientific petri dish, right? So it's like, come to BNI and we have our own methodology, and that's great. It's great within BNI, and if that's your thing in terms of coming every week and being within a small group of people within a small region of the world, that's great, and that works really well for some people over some period of time. But our challenge, we Global Tribers challenge, is we're dealing with people across cities, across borders. We don't have a petri dish where here's the process that you have to show up every week and you have to say things this way. And we're dealing with, in our case, there's 420 chambers of commerce in Los Angeles. So if you've got business and you want to do business in LA, you can't join 420 chambers. You can't globally join millions of different organizations, maybe tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of organizations. And none of them have a process, or very few have a process. So our role in our own business and within this imperfect world is to create a networking idea, a connecting idea that allows us to build business and make money. That's why we're out there, right? Is to be able to grow our business. And there's nothing, as Stephen mentioned, there's nothing wrong with that, even though a lot of people think that there's something dirty about that. It's not. It's very natural. So how do we create something natural that is effective amongst all of these imperfect groups of people and networks around the world. And you've finally given me kind of that vision of, we need to be talking about this nearly every single day and the science of that. And hopefully you can help with that. Am I looking at that correctly?
Yes, you are correct, Doug. It's the way I've been thinking about it. The reason I joined the Global Chamber, I know it's very impactful, is if we can add that element, that will be the biggest differentiators. Because university, for example, are coming to us because, for example, one I was talking to, they say, well, we're trying to recruit people to come to us, but they don't get to tell them, they have nothing to differentiate themselves with the other university. So now they are thinking, hey, if we offer this curriculum, then we can tell them, oh, we're trying to get you ready in the future for your career. HRs will tell people 80% of the jobs are found through networking. Very well. But when do anybody teach networking to anybody? Never. So, yes.
Thank you for getting me to finally see that in more clear terms. And so, does anybody else have any additional questions or thoughts, please? This is this is one of those topics that's a huge topic, so I'm sure there are questions. Harold, I don't know how you feel about it, but one of the things that I noticed about you is that you also make a very strong human connection. And a lot of that is because you have a business that has a human connection, literally. Did you learn anything here today so far, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, thank you, Doug. And I really appreciate Basile and all my friends here. I always tell that I'm a student of life and I learn every day.
Mhm.
So that's one. And I appreciate like what Basile said. I always believe in networking, connection. Like my older son used to always tell me, it's not what you know, but whom you know.
Mm.
And I practice that. So, but it was a very enlightening uh, subject. And I like the practical example you gave about that lady in New York wearing all green. So
Mhm.
there is a ways and means of connecting, collaborating, and how to combat human trafficking because I run a non-profit, like Eyes Open International, and I always believe it's a teamwork that makes the dream work.
Mhm.
And happy to be on this global chamber with Doug because I got connected with so many delegates globally. So I take every human being, whether I work with a lot of victims and survivors, but I respect everybody. I respect them equivalent, like if I'm speaking to some congressman or a senator.
Mhm.
So I don't take any human being very lightly, like, so I always say that people ask me, Harold, what should we do when we interact with a victim or a
Thank you
survivor?
very much. Great comments. Thank you very much.
So I always say that look, listen, learn, live, love, and laugh with them. Thank you.
Doug, can I ask Basile a question?
Sure.
Yes, and sorry, Harold, that I cut you off. I think I was going through a zone there that caused me not to hear you. So sorry about that. Please go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, Basile, I guess my question is, in your program, one of the issues that I seem to, again, maybe it's being a nerdy accountant, but asking clients or referral sources or people that we believe we have good contacts with in a genuine way, that they would like business, they would like referrals.
Mhm.
Literally asking a client or someone you've known, for a referral. Is there something you build into networking that is it's kind of before closing, it's just asking for an opportunity to close. I'm just curious if you have any suggestions for that.
Yeah, actually, you can ask for referrals at any time. Probably one of the most impressive person I've seen doing that was the name escaped me. The guy who used to run the Profit. Can somebody help me? He has a TV show on MSNBC called The Profit.
Oh, Marcus Lemonis?
Marcus Lemonis. I saw in one of his programs. I was widely impressed. The first time he talked to somebody, he said, "Okay, listen. I tell you what. This is what we're going to do for you. But let me ask you. Can you give us name of some people who can help as well?" He asked that from the very beginning. I used to say, you ask at the end after they've seen the product or the result. But what I learned from it is that you can do it at any time in the process. Now, you definitely need to think a little bit about how you go about it, depending on who you're talking to. So, but it is a natural process. You can tell, do you like what we're doing? Would you like anybody else to win just like you're winning? You get what I'm saying? So you got to frame it properly. You just have to think about it, but it's normal, natural, because that's where the growth take place. When somebody finish our program, for example, we get in conversation with him. We give him a link that they can use and share with other people so that we can then sign them up. So it's a major part of growing a business.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something about trust weaved into all this, isn't there?
Yes, it is. That's a very good point. Doug, you have very good questions. People connect to you when you listen to them. The bonding you hear about a lot in the world of business, people bond when you listen to you. They don't bond when you are talking to them. So when you show interest, you listen to them. That's where the trust come in. Because I challenge you, you go out, very few people let you talk, let you tell your story, let you express yourself freely. What we teach people is I may meet, let's say, Mohammed or Myla, and then I start talking. I don't even direct the conversation. They may want to be thinking about their kid, they get fired from school or whatever is the top of mind. I just be there for them to have somebody to talk to. And the trust then goes in. And we say it is important to listen to people. Let's say I have 2 glasses of water over here. They are all full. And if I pour the water over here, what's going to happen? It's going to spill over. Okay? When we say have the person talk to you first, is that they pour the water to you, there's room in their mind. Now, when you start talking, when you say something, there's room in the mind so that whatever you're saying goes in and stay. So these are the mechanisms that go in play. And at the end, you don't need to sell, really. I show you the system. That when somebody follow our system, at the end, they look at you, they say, well, Eva, listen, which way should I go? What program do you think is good for me? Because the trust has already gone in. Now they look at you as an advisor or a consultant. No more selling goes when you follow the system. That's what we have experienced.
Thank you for that information. Is that you, that sound that's happening, or is that me? I hear a sound. Did that alarm problem disappear?
Yeah, I think it's from you. I don't think it's from me. You guys tell me. I've been speaking. Anyone? Does that happen when I'm speaking? Or?
I think it may be on my end. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. So I'll continue to open up the floor. We have about 5 minutes left. And if someone like Mohammed or some of the other folks that are outside the US or have this experience in different cultures, we haven't really touched on the cultural aspect of networking and how important that is in terms of depending on which culture you're in and which community you're in, and even what community you're in and who you're speaking with and what culture they are. Those are all factors. Does anybody have any comments there, including Basile? You teach that
Hi,
as
Doug.
well,
May
I'm
I
sure.
jump?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Hi. Thanks, Basile, again. It was a pleasure listening to you. This is my second or third time. I have had always pleasure to listen. But as a former BNI member also, if you noticed that Basile and, for example, maybe not many of us, we have experienced international community such a young age. So it comes natural for us to communicate and talk with strangers and ask. What I liked about the BNI network that we have some kind of kit that we are international people. We work globally, so we need to have some guidelines. For example, Mr. Bakir has a networking experience. The other members has each have their sectors or regions that they are working with. So if we have some kind of how you say guidelines for each member of global chamber would be very grateful for us to have, or even just to start the conversation and break the ice, as you say. So thanks again for this great opportunity for this webinar. So uh, as an international trade person, I think in the future now our sons and kids and grandkids they will I think suffer in the future because they all know is the tablet and the computer and YouTube and they are losing the communication even with their family members. So keeping the network, keeping the conversation is very important to be connected and building the trust. Thank you very much again for this opportunity, and I hope I will not. I took a lot of time. Thank you, Doug, again, and thank you, Basile.
You're welcome.
What an important ideas you just laid out there too, because networking happens within families, within large
Oh yeah,
families.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
And the interactions between the generations and how people communicate. I mean, and so to me, that's Basile. I'll let you finish up and wrap up if you don't mind. But for my wrap up, oh my God, I don't know why I haven't seen it until now, but we need to be teaching not the petri dish BNI stuff. That's always been it's like fine to create some networking group where you're just like another silo amongst the world. That's not Global Chamber. We're not a silo. We're the breaking down of silos. And so what I want to be able to teach is connecting and networking for success, not just within Global Chamber and doing it in a petri dish, but doing it wherever we are, at a family Thanksgiving dinner or whether it's, wherever. That's the kind of thing that's a Global Chamber thing. And so that's my takeaway. And thank you for making me finally see that and hopefully in a more clear way. This has been just a very fantastic conversation, and thank you for laying this out. Could you wrap up your conversation and what we should be taking away from what you've delivered today? Thank you, Basile.
You're welcome, sir. I'll say this. We have a webinar called How to Network with Anyone, Anywhere. And to Mohammed's point, we are fortunate. I live in Africa. I live in Europe. I live in the US. So the knowledge we put together, it is indeed universal. When I'm talking about driving a car, well, guess what? The exact same way is done all around the planet. And I show you the breakfast event. In those 20 years, we researched and codified and saw what worked. It's not just something that I dreamed up. It's based on the reality of human beings dealing with one another. What we put together are the natural laws of networking. The only moment we talk about family, we talk about international, the only moment you do not need the networking laws are when you are sleeping. The moment your eyes are open, you are in it. Be it family, neighbor, the moment you start dealing with another human being, the laws of natural law go in play. Much like the gravity law. I may or may not know the gravity law. But if I throw this pen up, it's going to come down. That I know that or not, it doesn't matter. That's the same thing when it comes to networking. Family member, neighbor, business, and everything else. The natural laws of networking go in play each and every time you're interacting with another person. That's why this is so key for the global chamber. because the global chamber now can take this and move it over to the entire planet. That's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm part of the culture committee we have, because I see it as an opportunity coming from that global viewpoint to really impact the planet in a meaningful and great way.
The law of gravity, the law of networking applied globally.
Yes.
I'm totally there. Thank you so much for your time and your knowledge and your expertise and the science and the leadership that you've demonstrated here today and every day. Thanks everybody for joining. I
Thank
think
you, guys.
this
Much appreciated.
Great job. Thank
our
you.
our pleasure. Thanks everybody. I think this is the second of 2 events that we've done today, and I know tomorrow I think we have a couple of events, and including one on marketing. We had one earlier today that was outstanding on leadership, and so check in, stay engaged, reach out if you have some needs or people that you want to reach. One final thing I'll say about Global Chamber: we do have a new form if you're a member to fill in, and that applies who you're looking for into your profile. And we now have an operating system that allows us to better capture who you're looking for. And so we'll be continually rolling that out to our members. And as people are renewing the last few weeks, we've been sending that to them. If you haven't seen that yet and you're interested in that, please reach out. Otherwise, I'm sure in the next few weeks, you'll be getting that as a member. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thanks,
Okay,
Doug.
thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you,
Thank you.
Basile. Have a blessed
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Harold.
Nice meeting
Thank
you,
you, Stephen.
everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, Stephen, I